Hello everyone, welcome to this class. In this class, we're going to deal with decimals. I'm going to tell you some operations of decimals and how to handle them. First, let's go to exercise 3C, which is our revision class. Number 1A, we are being told to multiply 3.42 times 100. Now, when you are dealing with decimals and you are being given any power of 10, that's the easiest one of the, in fact, that's the easiest decimal you can deal with. All you need to do is move the decimal point around. I'll tell you how to go about it. Let's solve the first one. Now you're being told to multiply 3.42 by 100. So what you do, count the number of zeros. 1, 2. You have 2 zeros in 100. So when you are dealing with multiplication, move it right. But when you are doing with division, move it left. So here in multiplication, we have to move this decimal point right. Number of zeros. So I'm moving it 1, 2. So my answer is 3, 4, 2. So decimal point is here, so no need to put it. This is already a whole number. Are we together? Had it been we still have another digit here, maybe 1 here. I can say 342.1, but there is nothing there, so it's a whole number. Next is B. We're being told 0.725 times 1000. How many zeros do you have? 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So you're moving this point 3 places. Right. 1, 2, 3. So you have 725 as your answer. Now, this I, number I, 2.7 times 10 raised to the power 4. What does 10 raised to the power 4 mean? We've done indices. Simply means 10 times itself 4 times. So I can just say 10 raised to the power 4 is 10,000. Very simple. 10 times itself 4 times. I can do the math and you see that's the answer. But another shortcut I'll give you is 10 raised to the power for any number means that number defines the number of zeros that 10 will have. If it is a positive number, if it's a negative number, that's another different case. So you still have like 10 raised to the power minus 4 is a different case in terms of for positive numbers. That it simply means the number of zeros. So you can see 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 is giving us 10,000. The number of zeros is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are moving these 4 places, and when you are moving it, I notice that the digit has finished. What do? You start adding zeros to them. So this will give you 2. You move 1, that's 7. You move again 2, you add 0. Move again 3, you add 0. Move again 4. This is where you stop, and this is your answer. For division, you move leftward. The number of zeros, you move leftward. So we have, this is a whole number. Whenever you have a whole number, there is a hidden decimal point here, as we did here, and we didn't add those decimal points. So you start moving left. So here, decimal points start moving left. 1, 2. So you have 7.05 as your answer. Are we together? When you are dividing, you move the decimal point left, but when you are adding, you move decimal point right. This is just the shortcut to deal with anything 10 or power of 10 multiplying a decimal number. The second thing we are going to deal with, let me give another example for this division sign. Let me say exercise G. We have 38.6. so we just do more division. That's why I want to do this. Times 1000. How many zeros? 3 zeros. So I'm moving left 3 times. So I'll move this 1, 2, 3. Now the same thing that applies to the right hand also applies to the left hand. So if I move this, I'll have 1, 2. The extra movement, I'll add 0 there. So I'll have something like 3, 8, 6. And the dot was here. I started moving it 1, 2, 3. So the dot is here. I'll add 0 to that extra. And you know when you have decimal point, you're supposed to do 0. To show that the whole numbers are 0. 0.0386. This is your answer. If the 0 keep on increasing, you keep moving it and keep adding the zeros. Wherever you stop, you now do 0 point. The answer. The same way we are adding 0 to this one. See wherever we stop. But if you are dealing with the digit, you just, let me say the thing move is divided by 10. You just move only 1 and stop here. So it will be 3.86. This is a very simple question. Examples. I guess we know it. You can confirm all these answers with your calculator. So let's go to the number 2. Number 2 says express the following as decimal fractions. Now, the next thing we are dealing with when you are dealing with decimal is to, you are given a fraction and you are being told to express it as a decimal. This is done using what we call the long division method. we do something like this. The numerator will be inside, while the denominator will be outside. So you now do, okay, can 10 be divided by 2? The answer is no. When we mean no, it means it's less than 2. So what are we going to do? Now do 0 dot. Immediately you do this 0 point, you will now add 0 inside. Can 10 be divided by 2? Yes. You now do 10 divided by 2 will give you what? 5. You see, the answer you are getting will be on top here, while you are using these 2 to solve. So 5 times 2, 10. So you subtract. The answer is what? 0. So your answer in this case is 0.5. So you have converted 1/2 to give you 0.5 in decimal. Let's solve the second one. P. 1/4. So we'll start. 4 will be outside, while 1 will be inside. Can 1 be divided by 4? No, not enough. You add 0 and decimal point, then you will now add 0 here. Can 10 divide by 4? Yes. If 10 divided by 4, what would it give you? It will give you 8, right? Focus only on the whole number. Sorry, 10 divided by 4 will give you 2, sorry. Focus only on the whole number, forget about the remainder. So you just write your 2 here. Are we together? Forget about the remainder. The remainder is what? 2, because it's 8. 10 divided by 4 is like 8. It's inside the 10, so it will be 2 remainder 2. So this 2 now times 4 will give you what? 8. So this thing continues to go down. Are we together? So when it gives you 8, remember we did subtraction here and we got 0. So you do your subtraction. 10 divided by 8 will give you what? 2. It's after the subtraction that you start your division again. So let's start division. Can 2 divide 4? No, it can't. So you add 0. In this case, you don't need to add 0 up here again, since everything is already inside decimal point already. So can 20 divide 4? Yes. 20 divided 4 will give you what? 5. 5 times 4, 20. You now subtract. Your answer is 0. So whenever the subtraction gives you 0, that's where you are stopping. Adding this gives us another whole number. We continue the process again. So here we have that 1/4 converted to decimal is 0.25. Next thing we are going to do is 3/5. So E, 3/5. And now write it here. 5 will be here, 3 will be here. Can 3 divide? No. We'll now do 0. We'll now add 0 here. Can 30 divide? Yes. 30 divided by 5 will give you what? 6. 6 times 5 will give you 30. When you subtract it, 0. So we already gotten 0. We'll stop here. So the answer is 0.6. So I want you to solve this. This is already 10. We explained how to deal with 10 here. So I want you to solve this and get the answer by yourself. There was another example I want to do. Example that will take us through a longer process, so we understand how this long division method works. I think this is trying to crash. So let me separate this and this, so it will be visible. So this is an example I'm bringing up by myself, so that to take us a longer process in this long division method for us to understand. Let me call it extra example. So example 1. Let's deal with 1/8. Let's convert 1/8 to decimal. We simply do, okay, for 1/8, let me say 8 outside, 1 inside. Can 1 divide by 8? No. We now do 0 dot, right? Can 1 divide by 8 now? Sorry, add 0 here. 10 divided by 8, we get to 1. 1 times 8, 8. We do our subtraction, we have 2. So division start again. Can 20 divide? No, we add 0 here. Can 20 divide now? Yes. 20 divided by 8 will give us what? 2. 2 times 8 will give us 16. 20 minus 16 will give us 4. Can 4 divide? No, add 0. Can 4 divide now? Yes. The answer is what? 5. 5 times 8 will give us 40. and now it's 0. So the 1 over 8 will give us 0.125 as decimal. I bet by this it's already clear. The next thing we are going to go to is multiplication of decimal. So now we have to deal with multiplication of decimal. I will give you a simple trick on how to deal with multiplication of decimal. Simple thing you're going to do is know the number of decimal places you have, solve it as a whole number, and then replace the number of decimal places back. Here we have how many decimal places? Just 1. Only this 9 is under decimal. Okay, for those asking what's decimal place, let's go to here. How many do we have? 2. Decimal place means any number that is you can see after decimal point. So in this case, we're only having only 1 here because it's only 9. This is a whole number. In this case, we're having 2 because we have 7 is before decimal point, and another here again 4 is before decimal point. So let's start solving. I can say decimal place, let me call it DP. In this case is what? 1. So let's solve this as a whole number. We now solve it as a whole number, which is 9 times 3. 9 times 3 is what? 27 as your answer, right? Now you have 1 decimal place, so you just make sure you have another, you make sure you maintain it. So this is your answer with 1 decimal place here, or let's say 1 decimal numbers. So in this case, how many decimal numbers we have? Let me call it let me be using the term DP. In this case, it's 2. So we'll solve it as a whole number. 7 times 4. 7 times 4, we have what? 28. So now remember that we have 2 decimal numbers. So we maintain it, 0.28. That's your answer. The answer should maintain the number of decimal places you have in the question. In this case, how many do we have here? 3. You see, this is 1, and that is 1, 2. That's 3. So I'll say DP is 3. I'll now solve I'll say 6 times 8, which will give me what? 40. 6 times 8 is 48. Yeah. 9 is 54. Yeah. So 48. To maintain these 3 decimal places, the answer will now be 0.048. You understand? I have to add this 0 to make sure that it's complete to that 3 decimal places. Or you can use that 10 formula I told you. Here I can say, okay, this is a whole number, it move 1 place. Here this is a whole number, it move 2 places, 1, 2, and stop here. Here this is a whole number, it move 1, 2, 3. The extra movement, I'll add 0 there. I think that's a more clearer way to show it. The next one is how many decimal places you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 here. So I'll say DP is equal to 4. So I'll solve my 7 times 9, which is 63. So but I have 4 decimal places, so I'll move it 1, 2, 3, 4. So this extra movement will be replaced by 0. So I'll have 0.0063 as my answer. Hope you're understanding it. Very, very, very simple. So let's go to division of decimals. So we are now to deal with division of decimals. Now the division of decimal is another ball game. I will give you another trick you need to go about it to make it very simple. When you have 3.5 divided by 7, you simply write it out. This is 3.5 divided by what? 7. So the trick is that always make sure that make what is on top, the numerator and denominator, to be a whole number first before you start solving. Though you can solve it like this, but to avoid confusion, this pattern makes it more clear. So how do I make the numerator and denominator to be a whole number? We have 1 decimal place here, so I'm multiplying the numerator by 10 and the denominator by 10. I will show it in this one, but I might not show it going forward. I'll say times 10 times 10. So the answer will now be 35 over 70. Is it clear? Because whatever you do to the numerator, you must do it to the denominator, so the answer will still remain equal, like the same. So 35 go here, you have 1. 70 go here, you have 2. So now that you've gotten the lowest term, you now do what? Convert to decimal. And we've done this in the previous class, and we were able to prove that. See where we did it. I would have said let me solve it. Let's not repeat something here. So we got 0.5. So I'll just go straight and call it 0.5. So let's solve for this. In this case, we now have 3.5 over 0.7. So you multiply both of them by 10. So you make the both of them whole number. And mind you, the one you are multiplying is the one that have the largest decimal. Because if you multiply, let me say this, okay, we have that answer here. So the question is, I'll treat it here. So this will give you 35 over 7. So 35 divided by 7 will give you what? 5. So your answer here is 5. I think this is the best way to go about. So in this case, let's go for this 0.036 all over 9. As I said earlier, the one we are multiplying is one that have the largest decimal point. Here we have the up has decimal point, down does not have, but we still went ahead. So make both of them whole number. So the largest decimal point here is decimal place here is 1, 2, 3. So multiplying both up and down by 1000. I'm just showing this 1000. No, as we've already done this multiplication of decimal in our first slide here, and I told you how it's done. Simply move the decimal place. Since I want to multiply up and down by 1000, the numerator and denominator, that's what I'm calling up and down. Just simply move it 1, 2, 3. You have 36. In this case is here 1, 2, 3. You have 9000. So this is what you are now going to divide to the lowest term of it. So in this case, when we divide 36 by 9000, we are getting 1 over 250. So the next thing we have to do is now to use the long division method and solve for this 1 over 250. I don't know if this space I gave you will be enough. Let's start. We have 1 in the inside and we have 250. Right? Now, can 250, 1 divided by 250, the answer is no. I do 0 point, so add 0 here. Can 10 divided by 250, the answer is no. You still add 0 again, so you can add 0 here. Can 100 divided by 250, the answer is no. You still add 0 again, so you can add 0 here. Can 1000 divided by 250, the answer is yes. 1000 divided by 250 will give you what? 4. 4 times 250, 1000, and you have 0. So your answer is 0.004. I know we didn't treat this when we are doing division of fraction. When you notice that after adding 0 decimal point and you're trying to divide it, it's not still going, keep on adding till you get to where it will go, where it will divide. That's when you can now start your long division process. So let's go to the last, which is F. I have 3.6 all over 0.009. So what are we multiplying by both of them? If you got 1000, you are correct, because the largest decimal place is 3, 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 1000 over 1000. For those that, you know, this is just me trying to explain this for us to see. But those that understand, we don't even need to go through the they already look at the decimal place, they can change it to whole number and jump step. But let's continue. 1000 divided by 3.6 will give you 3600. 1000 divided by 9 will give you, sorry, 1000 multiplied by this will give you 1000 multiplied by this will give you 9. So we now do 36 divided by 9. 9 here is 1, 9 here is 4. So here is 400. So you can see we've already done, we've summarized decimals, we've done the evaluation of decimal when it comes to 10, we've done conversion of fraction to decimals, we've done multiplication, and we've done division of decimal. So if you have any question, you can ask me in the comment section. Next class we're going to deal